Birazdan başladık. Şu an yayındayız.
We are online now. Thank you very much. Good evening all. We are pleased to welcome you all in our webinar today. My name is Hilal Gerçek. I am working as Entrepreneurship Program Director for Habitat Association. Today we have great guests from Turkey and Caribbean who are very experienced and have impressive journeys in entrepreneurship. We will listen all of them one by one. But before giving the floor to them, I would like to give a short info about Habitat Association and GEN. Habitat is an NGO in Turkey and working for sustainable development for 25 years with its great partners and volunteers. Entrepreneurship is one of the main programs in Habitat. In terms of entrepreneurship, we have been running programs for youngsters, refugees, and women. And we will be launching community spaces in 12 cities of Turkey with the cooperation of Facebook, the Union of Chambers and Community Exchanges of Turkey, and International Chamber of Commerce. And GEN, its global entrepreneurship network. It operates a platform of projects and programs in 170 countries, aims to make easier for everyone anywhere to start and scale businesses. And by fostering deeper understanding, cross-border with collaboration and initiatives between entrepreneurs, investors, researchers, policymakers, and entrepreneurial support organizations, GEN works to fuel healthier start and scale ecosystems that create more jobs, educate individuals, accelerate innovation, and strengthen economic growth. Since 2013, as Habitat Association, we are running the Secretary of GEN operations and programs in Turkey, like maybe you know, Global Entrepreneurship Week, Entrepreneurship World Cup, and we have hosted Global Entrepreneurship Cup in Turkey, in Istanbul in 2018. And the good news is we will be launching GEN-TR in Turkey in a couple of months. So we believe that this cooperation will be a great opportunity for all of us to transfer know-how, create new impactful partnerships in the global scale. And this webinar is also a great example of our partnership, actually. We're sharing our know-how with each other under the umbrella of GEN. We have met with Marcia in Bahrain last year, and we are still in contact. She's the managing director of GEN Caribbean. Welcome, Marcia, again. Maybe we can start with you. Can you please introduce yourself and explain the past of GEN, how GEN works in Caribbean, and what are the benefits of being a global partner of GEN for you?
Okay, thank you, Hillel, and thank you so much for agreeing to partner with us within the GEN space on this webinar. For us, so I am Marcia Brandon. I'm the founder and managing director of the Caribbean Center of Excellence for Sustainable Livelihoods. And the Caribbean Center of Excellence for Sustainable Livelihoods works with GEN, Global Entrepreneurship Network, to operate and host GEW, Global Entrepreneurship Week in St. Kitts and Nevis. So on the flip side of that, we also collaborate with GEN. 5 hosts, GEW hosts from the Caribbean came together in 2013 to start GEN Caribbean, or to form GEN Caribbean. And so we have been working with GEN in the Caribbean to improve and strengthen the entrepreneurship ecosystem in the Caribbean. And I have been involved with GW since 2008, I think the same time as Turkey. Was Turkey there in 2007, 2008? Yeah. So we've been involved with GW since then, and GW has then evolved into GEN, Global Entrepreneurship Network, which is an awesome network to belong to, over 170 countries, as you know. And you saw what it was last year when you came to Bahrain, Hillel. So we're working to celebrate, understand, support, and connect entrepreneurs and those who champion entrepreneurs like ourselves. And we hope to do a lot more of this, especially now, during and beyond COVID-19, to connect, to celebrate, to support, and to ensure that we are helping our entrepreneurs to find markets, to grow their networks, and to ensure that the world becomes a global village, pretty much. Yeah. So Hilal, I'm going to hand back over to you.
Hilal Hanım, sesiniz gelmiyor. Mute'tasınız.
Okay, I'm sorry. I want to go on with a short introduction of our participants and then give floor to you all. Today, Nicola Farrell is with us. He is the CEO of Karayipler Marketing Solutions. Welcome again, Mr. Farrell. And Ms. Boyce is with us. She is an entrepreneur. She is a medical laboratory technologist. Ms. Yarkın is with us. She is the Chief of Experience Officer and Board Member of Partner Republic. Welcome again, Ms. Yarkın. And Mr. Garif, welcome. He is the Strategic Planning Manager and he is wearing another hat. He is an academician in Bahçeşehir University. Now it's time to listen your entrepreneurship journeys all. Maybe we can start with Ms. Boyce. Would you like to start to share your entrepreneurship journey with us?
Hi, good morning all. Thank you so much for this pleasure once again. My name is Cherry-Ann Boyce. I am the founder of Hello Natural. I started my entrepreneurship journey about 4 years ago after spending about 20 years in the medical laboratory, where I just got frustrated with the systems and I just walked off the job pretty much. After the birth of my daughter, she had some skincare issues, and I figured there must be a better way that her skin can improve. And with that, we started doing research and we came up with some skincare products that worked beautifully. She no longer has the skin illnesses. And we started with just probably one product, and today we have probably over 20 products. You know, the journey has been exciting. It has been extremely scary. No one ever told you that an entrepreneur does not get any sleep at all, you know, but most of all, it has been extremely enlightening and internally rewarding. I would do it 100 times over. So that's my journey in a nutshell.
That's great. So you have a story created from a problem that you have faced with in life, exactly, right?
Correct.
That's great. And so I want to give the floor to Ms. Yarkın. She's a great story as well, coming from corporate and now an entrepreneur. Ms. Yarkın, can you introduce yourself and share your entrepreneurship journey with us, please?
Oh, of course. Thank you. I am working for Partner Republic, founder and, as you mentioned, the Chief Experience Officer. So we are working for data modeling and at last increasing the conversion rates for the revenue. We are working for the revenue. In our journey, just started at the beginning of this interesting year. At the beginning of this year, we met with Tal, and he's actually our main advisor of our company. So he always says lots of things about the data analytics, how big data is important and how it's going to change the world. So we always talk about these sessions. So at the beginning of the pandemic, actually, it is a big decision actually for us and for whole of the team. At the beginning of pandemic, we just started for this journey on April. And as you mentioned at the beginning, I worked for more than 20 years for corporate companies, in telecom companies, in pension companies, in aviation companies as well. So it is actually a big change for me to change the way of work, because entrepreneurship is a kind of big change in whole of the journey. But if you believe on your idea, if you believe on the way of the things that you can achieve, actually, it's an easy thing to decide. And of course, the team is the most important thing at this point, because at the beginning, as I mentioned, TAL is big supporter, and our investors are the big supporters for whole of our journey. And when I explained about how data is important, and I am passionate about shaping up, the modeling it, and how it can change the world for the next step, they all say that it is the big idea and we will be the part of this idea. So it just started at last. Actually, I'm a little bit brave about taking an action, deciding about the next steps. And if there is a vision, if there is a next step that I can see easily, you can, if there is a good team, of course, you can take the action. You should not wait for the next step. And I also, another thing, the women are the big challengers. I believe on the woman power and the woman work. As we see here, Marcia, Cherry are the most supporters. So I want most of the women to be the part of this entrepreneurship area and in the technology area. Actually, I'm alone mostly on the technology area. I would love to see lots of women in this area, and shaping the journeys of our life, our customers, and our corporate customers' life is the big challenge. And I'm happy to be part of this journey and this challenge of revenue generation. So that's my story in high level, you can say.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yakin, for your great story and great message for women as well. And now, Mr. Gerich, can we hear from you? You're very working on digital transformation and innovation. Can you share your story with us, please?
Thank you so much, Ms. Gercek, and thank you so much for your kind words, Ms. Yarkin. It's a real pleasure and honor being with all you esteemed ladies and gentlemen and entrepreneurs. I'm a bit excited, so excuse my French, as they say. But long story short, I seriously believe this, that there is no I in team. It really doesn't matter what I do specifically or what one does by themselves, because it's only a drop in the ocean, right? And we feel like that sometimes. Whatever I do, it's just a drop in the ocean. Even if I do that, it won't affect that. And if it would affect that and that, what would happen to that third issue? And then we get into this vicious cycle. So basically, I truly believe that the solution lies in two fields. The first one is creating a strong and healthy ecosystem. As Ms. Brandon said quite succinctly, creating global village and new Silicon Valleys and whatnot. And secondly, education. But when we talk about education, we're talking about education towards the new normal. We're talking about, being digitalized, gaining new proficiencies, like the World Economic Forum is continuously revising, and the proficiencies needed in 2022 changed by tenfold compared to 5 years prior. So we're living in a changing world. That's why GEN, Habitat Foundation, and whatnot are so valuable and so crucial for all of us. And this doesn't only regard the entrepreneurs or the entrepreneurship ecosystem, it regards everyone. I mean, wealth creation, job creation, innovation management, all these issues are basically triggering the welfare and well-being of all people and animals and nature, and basically creating a sustainable future for future generations. So in a nutshell, if I have to talk about myself very briefly, but again, ben yok biz var, as I say in Turkish, there is no me, there is only us. I'm not saying that we should forget ourselves or our own ego. I'm just saying that we should discover ourselves and find ourselves through others, because that's the pretty thing. I'm basically trying to create a new mathematical equation where I say 1 + 1 should equal 3, because otherwise 1 won't even equal 1. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So again, thank you. But when we talk about entrepreneurship, we're not just talking about startupists or just people who basically create new ventures, although they're very esteemed people like Ms. Boyce and Ms. Yarkin and Mr. Farrell. We all need entrepreneurial spirit. Whatever we do in life, we need entrepreneurial spirit. And we see a problem here in the younger generation. They're not motivated, they're not excited. I talk to them, I'm like, how are you feeling? I'm not making a difference. How long have you been working there? 6 months. So we need to be a bit patient. We need grit, we need resiliency. In life, the two most important aspects are meaningful relationships and job satisfaction. But we don't get that in a day. I mean, it requires work and it requires connections. So we need entrepreneurial spirit. We need to find our ikigais. And that's basically what I strive towards, finding my ikigai. Everyone's ikigai is different. It's basically the raison d'être, the meaning of life, how we can find flow, how can time fly? Because time is subjective, right? Sometimes it passes by fast, sometimes it passes by slow, subjectively at least. So the ikigai was developed by the Japanese, saying that we need to create these Venn diagrams and find the center where we find what we love to do, we find what we're good at, we find what the world needs, and how we can basically survive and make a living. Once we find all these things, then we find flow. Now, sometimes it's hard to find them in just one thing. So we should wear different hats, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm a business person. I work in a conglomerate, heading the strategy division together with our team, of course. I'm an academic, as Ms. Hilal said. I'm an eternal student, basically. I don't like the word teacher. I mean, whenever we stop learning, we get old, I believe. Age is subjective again. I'm also the chairman of the Graduate School of Business there. So we're working with a strong network of people from the private sector as well, because the private sector is connected with academia. The academia prepares students for the private sector. And the private sector also on goals education and whatnot. And of course, NGOs. I'm active in some NGOs. We created an NGO 8 years ago called A New Leader, where we're basically trying, how should I say in a nutshell, we're basically trying to foster the new leadership ecosystem in Turkey, working together with companies, NGOs, governmental institutions, and gearing these youngsters and crafting them to become leaders. And that's really, really meaningful, I think. By shaping a few, you can make a big difference. And also I work together with the Metanoms Esteem team. And really, I mean, Partner Republic are pioneers. Today, when we talk about data analytics, when we talk about smart holistic solutions, I mean, we're not just talking about digital transformation. We're talking about human-centered approach. We're talking about being smart, being efficient. And of course, for that, we need to enjoy our workforce and our ladies. Only 21% of the workforce in the AI sector is led by women. I mean, the AI algorithms are going to become sexist. I mean, we have to, these issues have huge repercussions, which is why what Ms. Demet and her team are doing is so vital for all of us. So long story short, I urge all of you, find your entrepreneurial spirit, even if you're not a startupist. Be an entrepreneur by your own right. Find your ikigai, wear different hats, and enable this ecosystem by whatever you can do through collaboration, through know-how sharing, and through learning from one another, and of course, enjoying contemporary education vehicles. Again, GEN, Habitat, the Caribbeans, all of you are so valuable, and it means the world. And once again, 1 + 1 definitely equals infinity in this forum. So thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gary. It was very motivating and inspirational. Maybe we can make another webinar with you talking about this entrepreneurship spirit and ikigai concept. That was awesome. Thank you very much. And Mr. Farrell, can you hear me? Maybe there is a problem with technical issues. Can you? Okay, or let's go on with the other question. And when Mr. Farrell is back, we can listen from him. So, Mr. Gary, can we go on with you about the ecosystem in Turkey? How do you see the Turkish ecosystem, entrepreneurship ecosystem?
Again, I suggest that we continue with Miss Brandon about the Caribbean's ecosystem. So I won't talk too long, so you won't get bored from my voice. So I'm just making a trick, basically. So Miss Brandon can equalize the conversation. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, great. I think thanks for that. I think Mr. Farrell is back, so we could ask him to do his entrepreneurial journey for us.
Okay.
Welcome back, Mr. F. What's happening with you?
Good morning, everyone. I unfortunately I have one of those days where so many things are happening in the company, and I am trying my best to juggle while I'm participating in this amazing opportunity. So please forgive me for the mishaps and the ins and outs and everything else. Good morning to everyone who is watching, and I thank more specifically Miss Brandon for the opportunity to be a part of this presentation. So my journey is simple but profound. I think when I was very, very young, I remember the idea that I would only work with someone as long as I'm happy. And the minute I started to get unhappy for being in the workforce, I decided that wasn't for me. So when I listened to Tal just now, he's so right. I mean, you have to grow into that idea of being an entrepreneur. It's not something that happens overnight, or you wake up one day and you want it. But I've always been ambitious, and in that sense, I started a company as a consultant. My background is IT. I've been doing it for over 25 years, and I decided that for me, technology was just about changing the world and the way that the world see things, but it's about creating solutions and improvement. Thus, my company, branded Caribbean Marketing Solutions. We are about creating solutions throughout the Caribbean. That's one of our visions, and most importantly, to be able to look at how we can do that with merging partnerships with entrepreneurs who have different skill sets and what they can offer and what they can bring. As recent as a year ago, I have now embarked on a more higher digital offline marketing experience, anywhere between Facebook algorithms to WhatsApp to you name it, anything that can get the content of a brand or a brand awareness in front of any customer or any clientele. So I am excited to know that as an entrepreneur, there's a future in the digital community for us, and that there is an opportunity to partner with other entrepreneurs to get their products and their services in front of the right people at the right time in the right place. A colleague of mine said to me recently, he said, in this business, you have to remain present. If you're not present, then you're in the past. And I believe in that. If in this business of entrepreneurs, we have to be relevant and we have to be innovative and we have to be edging out each time how we can better what we do to be able to keep our customers happy. So thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here. And I hope that this is not just the first or the last, but there is more of this that can happen for entrepreneurs on a global scale.
Thank you very much, Mr. Farrell. And as you said, digital transformation, digital marketing is much more important than before now in COVID process. And as I remember, when you start with this business, the people who say no to you, now working with you, right? You also have a great success story in that term as well. Yeah, that's also great. Now maybe we can go on with Mr. Gary, as we have mentioned before. From your side, can we listen your experiences, your vision, how the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Turkey in terms of innovation and scaling up and networking?
Again, as I said before, as I said that Miss Brandon should go ahead, because I said that, please, Madam, ladies first, please.
Okay, I shall bell the cat. All right, so yes, the entrepreneurship ecosystem in the Caribbean is buzzing. I can tell you that, especially now during the challenges we've had and the fallout. As you know, the Caribbean is highly dependent, most of it, on the tourism sector and the services industry. And because of COVID-19, we have lost a lot of that. We have lost a significant part of our industries. And so it is now, as the Jamaicans would say, turn your hand and make fashion, right? It means pretty much find a way to make your own sustainable livelihoods. And so people are ensuring that they can find a way to do that, having lost much of their income during COVID-19. The ecosystem itself in terms of connectivity, of people working together, of academia, business support organizations, the government, the private sector, civil society organizations. We're all working together to ensure. I want to say we are looking at ensuring that we reduce significantly silos, and that's a work in progress. And so, but we're trying very, very hard to ensure that those who are not working together directly are working together indirectly. We have a way to go, but I think based on what I'm seeing and my own experiences in the sector itself, many people are understanding that, and I think Tal said it, and I'm going to say it in a different way. We say one hand can't clap. Simply means that you can't hold up one hand and it does what it needs to do. You've got to have two, right? And there's another saying that together we go far, alone you go fast. So we really do want to ensure that people understand how important it is to work together. At COESL, our model, the model we use to work within GEN, within COESL and within GEN, is called Complementary Capitalism. And all we're saying is that we need to complement more rather than compete. Competition has, over centuries, built up animosity and destroyed. We have said it's driven progress, but we haven't really looked at the other side of what it's done. Competition is created for people to actually compete. And it brings in things like stepping on each other's necks in order to get to that first base. Yeah. If we try more to complement, and I think this is the female side of me, I'm not sure. If we try more to complement, to bring our strengths together, so that I am enhancing or I am bolstering and building up somebody's weaknesses and adding my strengths to that, then I think that we will also go far. I think that's another model all of us need to make sure that we're looking at and not discarding by just saying that we need to compete. We need to complement as well to ensure that we're getting to where we're going. Because if we don't, then we're going to realize that we have lost a part of the plot that could really have built a cohesive and really inclusive ecosystem that is made to sustain us and the people who come after us. Because sustainable development is really about taking care of what we have now so that the others who come after us are not disadvantaged. And we need to ensure that we're doing that totally as we go forward in making our own livelihoods and making money, making profits and all of that.
Thank you very much, Marcia. And Mr. Gary, can we hear from your vision, our ecosystem in Turkey?
Yes, of course. By the way, Ms. Brandon, really, I mean, I really like the two-hand analogy, and I'm definitely going to use that. And thank you. In Turkish, we say küpe. I basically earned another earring. So thank you for the earring, which I always carry. So thanks for that. Because the time is limited, I'll try to succinctly summarize the issue very quickly. Basically, in Turkey, here's the situation. There are good news, and there are news that can get better. All right. But long story short, numbers talk, budgets talk. In 2018, the total investments that were done in Turkey within the entrepreneurial ecosystem, be it startups, incubation phase, whatnot, $60 million. Fast forward to 2019, 100 million. And then everyone is getting happy. Oh my God, we increased it from 60 to 100. In America, rather, it's 70 billion. In Turkey, 100 million. You look at Europe, Europe is not too good when it comes to entrepreneurship. France is one of the worst examples in Europe. I mean, when I say Europe, I mean the EU, the European Union. In France, which is one of the worst examples within the European Union, it's 4 million. It was in 2019, 4 billion. America 70, France 4, Turkey 100 million. But we're happy that it increased from 60. Let's move to 2020. COVID happened. COVID was actually good for the Turkish startup ecosystem. Between January and August of 2020, we saw an increase of 402%. Between just June and August, we saw an increase of 2,427%, because there was one big investment that was done, an outlier. Even if we take that one out, an increase of 415% between June and August, just 3 months' time, without the outlier. Just January to June, 58% increase, despite the COVID-19 issue. Most investments are done in e-commerce, and more should be done within the realm of Partner Republic and the team of Demet Hanım, of Ms. Demet, because I mean, we don't want to be a data colony, right? We want to actually show the world how things are done. We want to show the way rather than just hop on the train or miss the train, as they say. So there's a lot to be done, because numbers talk, and they mean a lot. And why is this so? Well, there are many reasons, I think. But basically, we need a revamped human resource pool. This is a must. Talent is scarce when it comes especially to issues like AI or algorithms or, you know, new age technologies, basically. Industry 4.0, Society 5.0 technologies I'm talking about. And we see that it's very hard for VCs and funds as well. Capital investments are difficult. We see a few VCs, few institutional investors, and a handful of exits. So we need an innovative cultural shift, and that's key to create an actually positive feedback loop. We need more public policy, we need more cooperation, we need different stakeholders to come into this ecosystem. Again, be it governments, NGOs, academia, private sector, and whatnot. And we need to work together. We need angel mentorships. We need angel accelerators in Turkey. So money invested becomes smart money. I mean, these people who, you know, exited or became self-made people are great, but now they're handling cheetahs rather than elephants. You have like, it's a different DNA. So it requires naturally, like a suit, different tailorings. And this is all natural, but the most important issue, I think, other than public policy and creating a strong ecosystem where we have not just two hands, but many hands holding one another and basically creating like a beautiful human bridge, you know, how we see in the television sometimes 1 million people holding hands in India or whatnot. I mean, that's what we need to do. I mean, that's exciting stuff. So to do that, what do we need? Technology. We need enablers. We need accelerators. We need, you know, technology is never good or bad. It depends what we use it for. A drone can kill people and it can plant trees. So it's basically a tool. We need to use these tools towards Society 5.0. We need to use the tool towards great values and towards strengthening our countries and the world as a whole. And I'm an entrepreneur as well. I mean, I talked about what I do in the private sector, in the academia, in the NGO realm. I mean, I'm advisor with the Demet Hanım's team, which I'm learning a lot from. They're actually my advisors. If anything, I learn from them mostly. They're too kind. But, you know, being active in all these NGOs, I mean, the Human Development NGO, there's a very important NGO in Turkey called Human Development, which I'm also active. The Istanbul's Economy Summit, which I'm also active in. And I'm learning from all these people. But here's what I see. We don't have enough marketplaces. We don't have enough technological digital tools that enable us to create a stronger ecosystem. And what we see is scattered offline support systems, which can do only so much. So as a result, as a side project, my team and I, together with my partner, Mr. Ergişener, he's like Superman for me. I learned, for all of us, I learned a lot from him. And we decided, we got annoyed because every time just helping one entrepreneur or learning from one startup, it's just, I mean, you just eat for a day, but you want to learn how to fish, not just catch one fish. And you need to be methodological for that. And accordingly, I started my first venture enterprise as a startup, and and hopefully, I'm sorry, can you maybe silence the mic? Thank you. So basically, what we are trying to do is establish a digital hub and a digital marketplace where all these stakeholders can intermingle and support one another. And if I have enough time, Ms. Hilal, just like for a couple of minutes, do you mind if I show a couple of slides regarding this venture? Because I think it basically talks about the ecosystem in Turkey as a whole, as it's basically trying to get all actors to play together.
For sure.
Yeah?
For sure, Mr. Gary.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated. And here is my deck. And just very briefly, we called our ventures to unicorn. Basically, the aim is to become a unicorn or help unicorns become unicorn, or an entrepreneur, a person that usually wouldn't become an entrepreneur, help them become an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur that would usually fail, help them succeed. A person that would succeed, help them become a unicorn. That's the idea, basically, holding hands. And the mission here is to integrate all stakeholders within the ecosystem. Again, we have all these different, how you call it, ice cubes, let's say, but we need to connect them, basically. And that's what we try to do. And the goal is very simple, is to create Turkish unicorns and global unicorns, of course, because, once we help one another, increase awareness, it helps us all. And we see entrepreneurship is on the rise globally and in Turkey. As I said, the statistics are, the numbers are increasing, the investments, the funds are making more and more investments, and it's on the rise. And capital is flowing towards startups, be it from funds, angels, companies, or banks, of course, VCs. Why? Because we know that it triggers innovation. And it's critical. And when you look at the unicorn history around the globe, up until 2014, you just had a couple, be it SpaceX and Elon Musk, and Uber, a Dropbox, or a Spotify. But look what happens from 2014 onwards: exponential growth. Unicorns everywhere, throughout the globe. And many more than before. And again, this helps job creation. So it's not just about the VCs. It concerns everyone. It concerns all of us. Look, 4 in 5 new jobs are created by 5% of new and fast growing companies globally. Since the 1980s, 95, almost the entire global wealth is owned by entrepreneurs. Where are all the Shells and Coca-Colas? It's all Alphabets and Apples and Ubers and whatnot. But we see a vicious cycle when it comes to Turkey. There's a lack of trust, a few exits. We have our first Turkish unicorn, which we're super proud of, but we need more. Our potential is much higher. And I'm sure that Partner Republic will show everyone the way. Now, there are a few exits. Undeveloped culture, innovative culture, how you call it, entrepreneurial culture. And again, scattered offline support systems, but we don't know where they are. It's hard to get engaged. There's a lot of information biases, few funds. So you always, for round A, round B, round C, need to go to the same people, which makes it challenging. The incentive plays need to increase. And we need the ecosystem, again, all the stakeholders to work together. And in accord, we see good things as well. And we see some pluses. TÜBİTAK, which is the Turkish governmental institution in charge of innovation, doing a lot of new regulatory frameworks, new technoparks coming to play, strong grants coming to play, incubation centers, accelerators are increasing. But again, the world, I think, especially now with all this dataism going on and transhumanism going on, and yeah, we basically found ourselves in a futuristic movie. It's like we press the flash forward button and we find ourselves 10 years in the future and we're stuck there. Now, I think that people, startups, companies, countries are going to be divided into 3 classes. The first class are going to be the ones who show everyone the road, who are basically piloting everything. And there are going to be countries that do so. There are going to be companies and individuals that do so. And I think that when it comes to the Caribbeans and Turkey, we should show the way. That's what our potential basically promises us. Second class doesn't show the way, but basically hops on the train. And then you can import stuff. Turkey up until now was in that segment, in the second class segment. We were able to import iPhones, but we weren't able to export an iPhone. But now with Partner Republic, we're going to create smart solutions that will export, hopefully. And third class, basically you don't even catch the train and you die. You cannot import anything. And in this changing world, in order to show the way, We need innovation management. We need to trust the young. We need to utilize technologies. We need to create marketplaces. We need engagement. And that's why such associations and foundations such as yourselves are critical. So basically the solutions is Gen, Habitat, etc. And basically creating new Silicon Valleys. Because although we have different cultures, the goals are the same. And it matters to all of us. Accordingly, To Be Unicorn is our new venture. Hopefully will be live very, very soon. And we're creating a digital city. We're creating a digital hub, a marketplace where everyone can engage, like a mini Bloomberg portal. Because true success is enabling others. True leadership is having different leaders run together. True success is making others leaders. It's not about becoming an Elon Musk. It's about enabling others to become half of that. And I think that everyone in this panel is aware of it. So again, thank you for being true success stories. And again, the world is going digital. So we need to create digital infrastructure. We need to create synergy. We need to integrate all these players into this one beautiful marketplace without stealing screen time, basically directing our legal support, coaching, mentoring, holistic approach, ikigai approach. Work and play should be one, I believe. And accordingly, we're creating a business model where we have a Turkish league, where we just provide content. Then if you're a startup and you want to engage with our platform, you apply. And if you're not ready for an investment, you're in the European League, where we help you develop. And if you're a champion already and you're ready for investment, like AngelList will basically partner you with investors. And that's the idea. And it's basically a road. As all entrepreneurs know, the entrepreneurship road doesn't go like this. It goes like this, which is why we need to help one another and work together. Again, I'm sorry if I talked for too long. It's because I got excited, but thank you so much again for this opportunity. It means the world for me. Thanks again a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gary. It was a great picture of the Turkish ecosystem and what we need in the entrepreneurship area. It was really very nice. Thank you very much for sharing us. And now maybe we can talk a bit about the pandemic process. You know, the entrepreneurs have faced with a lot of struggles, and some of them couldn't deal with it, but some of them take this as an opportunity and find new innovative solutions for that. So I would like to ask to, firstly, Ms. Cherry, what are the obstacles that you have faced in pandemic as an entrepreneur, and what are the solutions that you have applied? I think you are unmute. Can you unmute your voice? Yeah.
Hi, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Lovely. The pandemic was indeed an interesting time. I don't think anybody has ever experienced anything like that. And for a small home-based business, at first it was extremely scary. And we had to relook exactly what we were doing. And one of the issues we had was accessibility. You know, customers were no longer coming out. We weren't going out. We were all on lockdown. You know, and for that made me think of how do I get my products to customers still? And a website that I was toying with about a year, close to 2 years, we were able to do in 24 hours, you know. Even though it was not perfect, you know, we had the products in the customer's face. You know, we had them, they were online. With that, we were able to increase our customer reach, and the average customer spend also increased when we had our website. We worked with our bankers, and we were able to go cashless to be able to do curbside delivery and curbside pickup. So that was really great for our business at that time. One of the other things we also faced was diversification. No longer were customers interested in the luxury products like your scrubs and your oils. Everybody wanted something that was absolutely basic, you know. So they wanted functional cosmetics, and that helped us and pushed us to produce a 4-step skincare line that allowed ladies at home, sorry gents, you can also use it too, that allow ladies, you know, to take time with their faces and their skin. So that went really well for us. We were also able to position ourselves to do hand sanitizers. And through making those hand sanitizers, being a medical technologist, it wasn't easy. It was a no-brainer, you know. And through making those hand sanitizers, we were able to form strategic partnerships with our hospitals, our nursing homes, our nurseries here. We were able to give free hand sanitizers and free hand soaps. And that allowed us to, we were able to use that as a marketing prop. And it also allowed Hello Natural to remain relevant in a time like this. Because even then now people are saying, oh, I have your hand sanitizer from the pandemic, you know, and it has increased our monies, it has increased it tremendously. And along with the pandemic, it also allowed us to call and rely on our mentors like Dr. Brandon. She was incredible, you know, sometimes it was able to call her and say, Dr. Brandon, what do you think about this? Can I do this? What do you think? You know, and having her there and her organization being able to calm me through it, it helped Hello Natural to reposition ourselves within the marketplace, where we've gone now from a home-based business to a property rental, you know, and we're looking forward to all that it has to offer. Yes, it is still a scary time, it's extremely uncertain, and we had to be flexible. One thing, we had to be flexible in our response to the needs of our customers and also the needs of the country. You know, it was an incredible time. So the pandemic, it was bad, but it was also great for our business.
Thank you very much, Ms. Boyce. And Mr. Gary, if I ask the same question for you, what is your experience? What is the challenges and your solutions? Can you share with us, please?
First, Ms. Boyce, I really enjoyed what you just said. It's all about creating an opportunity out of crisis. And in Chinese, when the Chinese people use say crisis, they use two Chinese symbols. And one symbol means opportunity, and the other one means risk. So, I mean, yes, it can go negatively, but we need to use the situation and make an opportunity out of it. And I think you did it very, very, very smart, in a very smart manner. And it also creates empathy. It's all about creating meaningful brands today, I think, like Tom's. Basically, I mean, they sell you one shoe, and then they give another pair of shoes to someone in need. And I think that's beautiful. And I think especially the younger generation is much more aware of that. And once you become a meaningful brand, you can have premium pricing. It makes economic logic. You get more repeating customers. You get more word of mouth, etc., etc. So you know how they say, fake it until you make it? I definitely believe that. Fake it until you make it, because eventually when you make it, you see that it makes economic sense. I always say that it's not just about profit, it's about purpose. Purpose, eventually you can monetize. But when you just focus on profits, the feasibilities, all of a sudden when COVID-19 comes, your cash flow gets ruined. So I think, long story short, again, I'm sorry if I talk too long, I'll just sum it up with two thoughts. Smart business models, where you basically utilize data, you have a platform-based business model, whatever you do, and you get data which you can analyze simultaneously or momentarily rather than analyze Excels. That's old school. And we need it because that would enable us to engage with our customers, engage with the workers, engage with all the stakeholders much better in a much more efficient way, understanding the needs, understanding and basically increasing efficiency. So we need to integrate these tools into whatever we do. And whatever we do, we need to include data processing and include data within our business models. Again, regardless of what we do, just so we understand what people need, just so we can create added value better and stronger. And for that, we also need strong human capital that can use that data. I think the three main issues today are basically, how are we going to organize our companies? I mean, you look at Spotify, you look at Netflix, you look at these different new micro-solidarity-based organizational structures. Very important. What are we going to do? What are we going to focus on? And how will the employee or worker experience be? No one wants to be like Charlie Chaplin in these black and white movies where they're like, he's stuck in a watch, you know? I mean, we don't want to just get directives, especially like the Y and Z generations are going to combinedly be 76% of the workforce within 5 years. So we need to engage these people. We need to increase the capabilities of our human workforce and basically digitalize, I think, our business models. And for that, we need, long story short, the most valuable resources for companies are people and data, but they're not separate. We've already reached singularity. We're continuously with our phones. We're continuously in digital places. I mean, I just walked with my dog beforehand for 15 minutes. I mean, I felt great. I did grounding, but that's just 15 minutes a day, maybe, you know? So we have reached singularity. So for companies, integrating data and people, or not just people, talented people, good people, people with values, so you can create meaningful brands, meaningful missions, that would be great. And on top of that, the most important resource for people, unlike companies, is time. People think that the most important resource is money. Money comes and goes. Time doesn't come back. Manage your time well. Do what you love, because then you'll be successful. Don't sit somewhere because someone told you to sit there. Let's find our ikigais and you know, give back more than we take, because actually we get when we give. It's a paradox, but I think everyone here gets it. So let's give so we can get. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gary. And it would be great to talk about a bit about the future of pandemia. So, Mr. Yelkin and Mr. Farrell, what is your foresight for the future for pandemia? What will change in our life, and what should we prepared for?
Who is first?
Please take the floor, Mr. Yelkin.
Thank you. Actually, at the beginning, as I mentioned, pandemia, and also Tyler also mentioned about the opportunity and the risk part, yes. At the beginning of pandemic process, people are always talked about what we are going to do, if we are going to, if we are going to lose our job or not. Or let me keep our money because we would like to, we will probably need our money in future. And there were lots of questions actually. And the decisioners are all are in trouble, and they cannot easily decide to go for the next step, because there is a place, actually level, that you should decide if you should stay up there or step forward. Be first or not. There is a risk, of course, being first in some of the jobs. So in this process, in this, pandemic process, if you are first, you were the winner. Of course, you get some risk, but you should be a decider at that point. And as we all see that, we are all in this digitalization process, not only for the shopping or retail parts. I mean, we also get the learning from the digital platforms. We did celebrations from the digital platforms. We did family visits from digital platforms. We did health checks from digital platforms and so on. So the culture is changing, exactly. So, and we'll not go back to our old lives of lifestyles. We are in a transformation, and at last one world culture is coming. Of course, this is obvious. So this change is mostly triggered by actually data, as mentioned, the Netflix, the data, the mobiles, and everything. I mean, so it is a triggering point. These are, tools. Data are the tools to understand and decide as a human. I mean, they are the helping engines actually for the humans. So we should be ready for the next step, create a value, and actually be brave to transform ourselves, yourself and our customers. So we'll never have a comfort zone afterwards. So actually, at last, for the pandemic, if we want to be ready for the next wave, for example, not afraid, but think about the opportunities. Go back, stay back, and what will probably the peoples are going to do next, and be up there, If the peoples are digitalization in the digitalization process, then be up there, get your shop up there. So this is the actually way of thinking what we mentioned for our company, for Partner Republic. That's the thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yakın. And I hope we don't have the second wave, but as you said, if we have, we will be more ready for that. Although we have a lot of unknowns again, we are more familiar than the first one. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you too.
And Mr. Falal, what do you think about the future for pandemia? What's waiting for entrepreneurs, and what are we prepared for? What should we be prepared for?
I think one of the things that I found in this business, or what has transpired, is the fact that we are all waiting for a solution, and we're not willing to create that solution for ourselves. I found a lot of business owners depending on a solution from the government sector, or depending on a solution that's coming from a global community. And what really needs to be looked at is how can I look at what I do and be able to transition into what needs to be. And I say that because, for instance, I went from doing digital media to now animation to now video content. Because the idea is, when the lockdowns came about and the convenience of people being at home, it was an opportunity to get content to them, and so that they can be able to respond to it and how it affected them during this time. And the content was in all formats. It's from digital copies, to storing about how you can handle anxiety, to doing virtual exercises and live. I mean, I have moved from having no experience with live production to now being.
We can't hear you. I think you pressed mute by mistake. Yeah.
Sorry, everything is a Zoom, or everything is a Facebook, or everything is one of those platforms. It was interesting because what I found as a solution also is to be able to look at the other partners in the business, in the industry, and find ways to collaborate. Say, hey, you know what is your strength and what is mine? And instead of us tracing after the same cheese, why don't we work together to get that cheese? Speak. What can you provide that I don't have, but I have the position, I can get the contract and you can work alongside me. Creating those type of solutions, because when you try to find a way to move forward in this business by yourself, you eventually would run into a brick wall and say, wait a minute, how did I get here? And then you look across the road, you realize that the guy with the vehicle could have helped you drive around. You see what I'm saying? And then the guy with the sign could help you direct you with where to go. We need each other. And I think that's one of the things that I found as a solution, as a comfort, as an innovation, is that it was there all the time, but more than ever, it's necessary. Whether we're doing it in small communities, regional communities, or global communities, we need to find a way to look at our different skill sets, our different technicalities, and say, hey, wait a minute. It's important to connect with Tal. It's important to connect with Sherry. It's important to connect with Demet. I mean, every single person on this webinar has a skill that together we can produce a product, or we can provide a service, or we can be able to help improve the quality of how we live moving forward from as COVID-19.
Thank you very much, Mr. Farag. And I want to ask a question for all of you, and would like to hear one sentence from each of you. Now our entrepreneurs and our volunteers are watching us, and I would like to ask some advices from you for the ones who want to be entrepreneurs. For young people, what are your advices shortly? Ms. Boyce, can we start from you?
Sorry about that again. One definite thing is that change is inevitable, and change post-COVID and during the pandemic is going to be extremely uncomfortable. You have to be dynamic and you have to be flexible. That is critical. Any service that you offer, it must be technology friendly and it must be always customer ready. Networking is going to be imperative, and uncommon partnerships are going to be the order of the day. Entrepreneurs, they must also develop key competencies, and they must consider key issues within their business that will help them to redesign their business that they remain sustainable, competitive, and most of all, relevant post-COVID. That's the advice that I would have for entrepreneurs during this time. Relevance, relevance, relevance, relevance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Yarkin, what would be your advices for young people?
One word: transform your mindset. Actually, not look today. Think about the next step of the human being, because you should be always up there. I mean, not always think about the pain points. Think about the solutions. I mean, these are the things that, I mean, if you have a brave heart in looking for the opportunities, let me say, you can see easily the filling areas, which parts is missing part and which part I can be up there. And if you have some capabilities to fulfill up there, take a great team, then don't stop, go ahead. That's the point.
Great, thank you very much, Ms. Yarkin. And Mr. Gary, what would be your advices for young entrepreneurs?
I would go with Ms. Yarkin, and it's all about digital transformation and basically renewing ourselves. We all need to renew ourselves. I mean, COVID just expedited the situation. But when we talk about digital transformation, we're just not talking about digital world. We're talking about human-centric approach. We're talking about culture. Digital transformation means cultural transformation, means strategic transformation, means process-driven change. So we're talking about all that. I mean, technology is just a tool, it's the means, but society, environment, future generations, together with economic logic, so it can be sustainable, is the goal. I mean, the tool, again, these AI tools, blockchain tools, cloud, robotics, IoT, all that is nice and well, but what are we utilizing them towards? The systems that operate these tools need to be responsible structures. We need to hold good values. We need to have strong neural networks, and we need to be a strong homo deusus, like Yuval Harari says. We're evolving from homo sapien to homo deus. So my advice, my 2 cents, don't just focus on profit, focus on purpose. Don't do it through a hierarchy, create a network management system. Don't just focus on control as an entrepreneur, because usually, you know, the founders, they want control. Empower. It's not just about planning, it's about experimentation. What's Facebook's motto? Break it and then apologize. Break it and then apologize. I mean, if you just are scared, like in Turkey, in some companies, people are scared to make a mistake, you won't have innovation. And then the people at the top, why is there no innovation? If you're gonna sit all day at the same place next to the other person without hot desking or whatnot, these things don't just happen by themselves. So we need transparency rather than secrecy. We need platform-based smart business models. We need to learn to create omni-channel systems. We need to create agile structures. And to do that, I recommend all entrepreneurs to focus on 3 types of management. First, infrastructure management, cloud, server, platform, these kind of digital solutions that Partner Republic offers, for example. Process management, not just infrastructure, but process management. How are we going to do remote working? How are we going to mobilize people? And of course, last but not least, innovation management. Preparing the company for the new world order, creating smart new business models, organizing work differently, focusing on different types of that, focusing on UX, employee UX. We need to feel like we're playing. There are 2 theories. Theory X, that people are just, you know, Tembel demeye çalışıyorum. Bana yardımcı olur musunuz?
Lazy.
Lazy. Yes, people are just lazy, and you need to, continuously give sticks and again make them work. But there's also theory why, where people play at work, where they say dance on the table. Both exist, but we need to create a system where work becomes play. And I'm very excited about everything that is coming. And I also think that when it comes to, true leadership, because entrepreneurs are leaders, we need empathy. I think the highest form of intelligence is humility, is modesty, is kindness, is good intention, and of course, integrity. So by having these concepts, we are able to learn from one another. We're able to cooperate much better, and we trust ourselves more. My last sentence and 2 cents: those who say they can and those who say they can't are both usually right. First, we gotta believe. And for us to believe, we need ecosystems. So thank you so much. It's been an honor and a pleasure. And I'm sorry if I talk too long. Again, thank you so much.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Gray. It was again a very motivative talk from you. And Mr. Ferid, would you like to add your comments and advices for entrepreneurs in our last question?
How is it that I always need to follow the greatest man in this room? I always have to stand behind such a great speech. I mean, you make me look back. Anyhow, I think, and as I've thought about it time and time again, what made me want to be an entrepreneur? And if I were to say that, it was I couldn't no longer deal with the mundane of my job. I got to a point where I was doing it just because. And that's what I love about what Tal said. I realized that becoming an entrepreneur meant having a purpose, meant creating an impact, meant somehow in some small way, right in St. Kitts and Nevis, I could make a change. Whether that change be innovation, digital space, whether that change be cultural in how we respond to the market that we live in, whatever it is, that became my purpose. And so if you are listening and you're working and you just are not excited about your job, maybe it's time to think about being an entrepreneur. Because only when you love what you do the best at it. And you're going to be awesome in the end. So I would say that find your own niche, find your own love, find what wakes you up every morning to say, I will do this for 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days. And I won't be tired. I won't be bored. I won't complain. I will do it because somebody that is connecting to what I'm doing is happy. They're excited. So that's what I would say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ferrer. It was very motivating as well. So as we sum up, I got great suggestions from young people, and we can say, be ready for change, be willing to be transformed, focus on purpose, not only make plans, but also experience it and find your own love. These are very, very valuable suggestions for entrepreneurs. Thank you very much to all. And we are coming to the end of our webinar. Thank you very much to all. I would like to thank you all for joining and sharing your great experiences with your all great stories. Also, we again see that it's a great opportunity to be a part of that global network. Hope we can go on with other webinars to share our experiences. Thank you very, very much to all, and have a good evening. Goodbye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.